What's up, everybody? Thank you for joining us again on this episode. Tonight, here with A1.Blakie. How you doing tonight, man?
I'm chilling, man. Like I said, I'm really pissed. I ain't got my schoolboy Q bucket hat. That's why I got my hoodie up like this. Excuse me, y'all, but you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
All right, so what I like to do before every episode is I like to show some of an artist's work so you can get like a sort of a view on who they are, some context before you listen to the interview. If you would like to just skip straight to the interview, hear the conversation, the talk, that time code is going to be here. Hope you enjoy it.
We ain't never failed. A-list student, perfect attendance, on credit, take notes for improvement. Flow is the truest. Marble towels, y'all thought I lost them. Found in sound, how I rose and blossomed. Awesome is me, move mountains easy, kept in the me and tragic shit, make it disappear with my magic stick. If got down, cause Kaepernick minded. What's rock bottom? God for one who done got taller. Underdog to a Rottweiler, bitch nigga to a Chihuahua. Spike for one, 2 fought callers. Oh yeah, I forgot she's French. Said beg your pardon, these hoes on my bed like my room a garden. Hand low, on shorty waist to the audio. Came a far way, looking good like 5 dimes. Try at 8 a.m. like morning time. But I'm more for brothers in rhyme. Jay the Youngin, Pat Stay, PNB Rock, Coolio, One Migo, etc.
And we're back.
Magic finger.
Yeah. All right, so tell me, man, what's going on with you right now?
What's up, y'all? A1.Blakie, improvements, the greatest movement, action words is how you do it. What's going on with me right now? I just been grinding, working on my project every day. Like I try to put something into it. I really got a big vision for it. Got a big vision for this music shit that I'm trying to dive into. You know what I'm saying? I'm still pretty new to it. Like I really started, like December just last year. So it's not even like 6 months yet. But I feel like I'm meant for this. And like it's always been inside of me. So I'm just really just trying to dive into my craft, trying to learn my style. It's really different. Like I don't say like in a bragging way, but it's kind of like one of a kind, I like to say. I have like a mixture of like a lot of influences that I got and I put into that style. So yeah, the project is pretty big, like in regards to, I feel like the impact and just like the number of tracks I got. So I just be grinding on that every day. Literally, that's like my main motivation to just keep going and do this music shit. So that's what's going on with me, for real.
Damn. So 2 questions. First question is,
get it.
How much music do you have released like right now?
Literally my 11th song, like on streams, is about to drop on the 19th. I got 1 song that's on SoundCloud, and then I got like a hidden song on SoundCloud because I sounded too ass. I kind of just kept it private. But I got like a lot of my vote for real though. It's just really just like right timing for everything. My goal right now is to drop at least 1 single like every month. That's my real goal. So far I've been trying to keep it consistent. I dropped my main 5 like literally on the same day. That was December 2022, pretty much 2023 because it was like 3 more days till the new year. And then January I did the debut. It was kind of like a debut of like my new style, my new flow, and what I consider like my growing years. That's why I call it debut. And then February I dropped like a song series, Good Boy, like part 1, part 2, part 3. So that was from February all the way to March. And then April I dropped the sequel to that song, Hard to Decide. And then this month, or the 19th, is Action Words 2. That's the name of my first ever single that's on SoundCloud. So yeah, my goal is to just keep it consistent. So like I said, it's only 11 right now, but by the end of the year, it should be like about like 30 or something.
Damn.
So something like that. You know what I'm saying?
So second question now. So December, what like spurred you into making music?
Man, I always been doing it. Like, it's more been to like poetry because I grew up in a Christian family. Like rapping was kind of like never allowed. If it was allowed, it was like clean version. You know what I'm saying? I really started doing rapping when I was like a freshman in high school. We'll do like rap battles like in lunch. You know what I'm saying? Like just like lit vibe shit. I wouldn't really win that much because I had like a stuttering problem. I still got stuttering problem, and I'm still trying to like get better every day when it comes to that shit. But it kind of just grow that drive in me to really do it. And I was really good in putting words. Like my mom always tell me that all the time. I don't know if it's just because like I watch a lot of rap battles and I like rappers like Eminem and Nas. You know, they be doing like that lyrical, miracle, spiritual. That shit always just like attracted to me. And it's kind of like, it's a fun challenge too when it comes to making a craft too. So whenever I live with my dad outside of like the Christian environment, I actually started doing raps, and I made my first song when I was like 15. I moved back. I was only with him for like 6 months. So it was just more like poetry inside the church. December comes when I was on my deployment since I joined the military. And, you know, like an deployment is not really like much to do. Like we did like a 3-in-1 schedule. So imagine like no Saturday and Sunday. It's just like one day off. You're going back to work for the next 3 days. It's like a cycle. Yeah. So in my deployment, you know, we were blessed enough to have like a little music room. It was just more for like fun. It was just more like instruments. But, you know, I knew a guy who brought in like his music equipment in there. He recorded. So, you know, when I found out about him, I was like, yo, what's up? Let's link. Because, like, only thing I did was just work out and just eat. You know what I'm saying? Like, you could barely go outside. So it's just kind of like not really much to do. And I always got back into rapping whenever it was like a time where I was like really like low on myself, like a little like depressed wise or just a feeling to where I always got to get back into it. You know what I'm saying? That was like definitely one of the defining moments. And I'm really glad I did. It's really weird it was on deployment why I got back. But I don't know, everything happens for a reason. So that was from between April to October. And I wrote like, I believe like about 20 songs for 15 least, like 20 most around that time. Damn. And like some of those songs is going to be on this next project. Some of them is going to be like in the later years or just maybe just in the vault. But yeah, that was like really going back and like doing the craft I feel like I'm supposed to be doing. And I got my interest back, and I've been dedicated since. When I got back from my deployment, it was like October. I took leave November, and in December it was just all in the music. Shout out to my boy Daju. He's the one that helped me out, and I did like 5 singles, and then just kept going ever since. You know what I'm saying?
So, tell me a bit about like writing poetry and stuff, because that really goes along with like lyrical type stuff.
Yeah, and I feel like for me, poetry is just really like my style. I don't even know how I got into it really. I remember like my first one I did, I was probably like 12 or 13, and it was all like church based. So like I remember I did one based on like Easter, one based on Christmas. I did one for Super Bowl. I'll like do one based on like a sermon that my pops will do, you know what I'm saying? And I think just then it just got me to drive. Hip hop is not really like my first genre, you know, like how people said like English is not their first language. It was really gospel and reggae what I started doing first, just because I always grew up in like that Jamaican apostolic environment. So, you know, I listened to that before I even listened to hip hop. I got into hip hop by this dance hall artist. His name was Papa San. It's crazy. He kind of mixed like his reggae and rap together. And then I had my uncle who would listen to like just dance hall rap. So like, you know, like Vibes Cartel, that name, no familiar. Little like reggae artists locally in Jamaica. I guess like just being around those influences kind of got me more into doing like a rapping style. So even though I was still doing poetry, I kind of made my own blend, you know what I'm saying, between poetry and rap. And then just kind of stayed like that for a while, for a minute. That's really like my origins in poetry. And even like I said, to this day, like I still kind of make it my style. Yeah. Like I'm really like a poetry that just really have a cadence. I don't even really consider myself a rapper. Okay. Even like when in my storytelling, like you can kind of hear the kind of style I put into it, trying to be poetic, trying to make sure you can feel every line. Like I try to paint a picture with my shit. You know what I'm saying? So.
And then what you said it was at 15 where you released or where you made your first song?
Yeah, 15. I did my first song. It was to like a Cypher Effect beat. It was kind of like dark, gritty hip hop. I don't know why I chose that beat.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I loved it. Like I said, it was just kind of like what I was just really into. It's kind of like a Griselda type beat now that I think about it. Yeah, when I was 15, that was like my first song. I was living with my dad for 6 months. And like I said, like getting out of that church environment and getting more to like a hip hop scene. That was like around the time A1.Blakie was blowing up too. We're from the same county, Broward County. So I guess that just got me more into like, okay, I can actually make it out here. Cause, you know, before Kodak, there was like really no Broward rapper really repping like that. Like we had Ace Hood a little bit and like a couple.
Yeah.
But, you know, like Kodak kind of put that on, put our city in a pedestal kind of thing. So it's cool. And then kind of just gave me the motivation too, I guess you could say. But, yeah, it just, I forgot the question.
No, it's all good. So this is your first, this upcoming project. This is your first like album, correct? Right?
Yeah, so it will technically be like my first project. That's dropping, I'm really hoping October. Like I said, it's gonna be really big. I actually had like a different concept of it before too. It was gonna be like, I'm calling it Blast Life. It's gonna be like Blast Life 1 and Blast Life 2. I just decided to combine. My goal was for it to drop 2022, like around the same time I dropped those 5 singles. One of them is gonna be on that project.
Yeah.
But I was really sad too. I was like, damn, because like that was really my plan to really put in 2022. But it kind of helped because I think me combining these two ideas of what I had for Blast Life 1 and Blast Life 2, combining it just completes the picture too. So yeah, it's gonna be my first project. I'm really excited about it. I really got a vision for it. It's gonna be something different in the game, I feel like, you know what I'm saying?
So starting in December, really, you know, like really like stepping into it, even though it seems like music and poetry, lyricism have been in your life longer than that.
Right.
What are some of the things and what has sort of the last, December, it's been like 5 months now?
Pretty much, yeah.
What have you learned? Like, what's that journey been like so far?
That's a good question. So, my style and like, I guess influences I learned about during that time, I think it definitely played a role on the character that I put as A1.Blakie into my music. So like, my first 5 singles, or at least 4 of them, was just more like a pop storytelling. It was like its own kind of style. And then like whenever 2023 hit, I was still finding my voice too, cause like I just got back into it, and like, you know, I kind of made like 1 rap song, and that was like literally it. So I was really just trying to find my craft and just trying to master as fast as I can. My first song for this year, I think it was like a good debut for what my style gonna be, what I'm gonna be showing the world, and then just trying to progress every day, progress my style into every new song. Like, I'm so proud of myself too, cause like I can literally go back to Action Words 1, like my first song, and see like how far I came.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm really proud of the progression I've been doing. I see it for myself too. Like, I listen to new artists, and it just also inspired me to just, you know, maybe like not really like copy, or just kind of like pick some ideas off them too and put into my craft, you know, be like a combination of many ideas and many rappers.
Yeah, definitely. So what who are some of your favorite artists right now that you're listening to? And
right,
like
right
what
now
type
or
of
back
music are you
then?
really deep into right now?
Right now I've been into Griselda, kind of funny enough. Griselda does like it started off as like a 3-man team from Buffalo, West Side Gun, Conway Machine, Benny the Butcher. I guess cause like they really like my style. Like they start off, or they're still kind of like the New York theme. Like back then, they're really bringing back like my kind of hip hop, which is just more like I don't know. I really say like 90s, cause my biggest influences like growing up was like Eminem, Nas, Lil Wayne, and you know, like newer, I would say like Kendrick. I can really relate to Kendrick a lot because we kind of both have like an author style on like how we do our albums and our projects and whatnot.
Yeah.
But yeah, right now I've been into Griselda, and I've been trying to really branch off beyond what I know, even branch off to like different genres too, just to kind of see like beyond what I already know in hip hop. Like I said, I recognize like gospel and reggae just because that's what I grew up to. I know some reggaeton because my dad was a salsa teacher, so I know some of that. But I definitely want to like dive my feet deeper into the real music world and try to explore different avenues that could be inspired by someone else's music. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So now you have said a couple times, I think you briefly hit on it during this interview, but before the interview actually started, you said it. You said that this upcoming project is going to be, I forget how you worded it. You said it was going to be like a story. That's so right. Can you explain like a bit of what that means?
Yeah, sure thing. So Blast Life is a concept. It really got like 10 meanings. I'll definitely explain it like another day or another interview. But it's a concept I always grew up to. And it really just kind of explaining my life, like ever since I was born to like my current circumstances. I try to do it like as musically as possible. Pretty similar to like Kendrick Lamar, Good Kid, Mad City. So like even like my first song talks about like my time in the hospital, and I just kind of go to like the major points in my life, kind of take you to like memory lane for real, and like every song is just kind of like a different chapter of what I went through and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So
could you get into a little bit about what you've gotten into? Because you know, one of the things I really believe in is like, and I just enjoy doing is, you know, an artist, they can like express themselves through music,
right?
Every way possible, you know, just tell their life through music, tell who they are. Right. But I like hearing it through words, you know. That's one of the good things I like about the interviews is you hear it through a different medium, you know, through voice. Okay. So can you just tell a bit about like what you've been through in life, like sort of maybe like stuff that you go into in the song or something like that? What sort of made you who you are?
I got you. I don't want to spoil too much. I want y'all to be surprised by it and whatnot. So yeah, I would say, like I said, like starting from, I think like the main theme of it too is actually pretty opposite to what a rapper kind of is. You know, I grew up like in the ghetto, but I also grew up as like a church guy who grew up with like a disability of like not being able to speak well, not being able to really understand like certain things or some concepts of life. So I kind of have a point of view of someone who just grew up sheltered and grew up like I said, with a disability. And I try to make it as like interesting as possible. I think some of the biggest parts of the songs that I got is like when I was like kind of influenced to like rob or steal, do stuff like with my little cousin, and we get like in trouble and shit like that. And like I don't know, like that's like some of the major stuff. I talk about like when I was really into track and I'll be like working out almost every day. Kind of like some form of depression that I go through, and then like even like my story with the military and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? I try to really bring y'all into my world. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So what role does music with all of that, you know, what you've been through, what makes you who you are today, what role does music play?
For me?
Yeah. In your life?
Man, music is everything to me. And I'm so mad that I rejected the call like for a long time. So like I always just knew it was like part of me to like really do what I'm doing now. I just really never got the say so to do it until I told myself like maybe this is what I should be doing, because you know I had like a time of life to where I just really like questioned like who am I, you know what I'm saying, like I'm sure many people do, and like I know for myself like I really want to have a purpose in this world, you know what I'm saying, like I'm 22, you know I probably got like a good, you know, more than 70 years in me, like I definitely just want to become somebody. And at this time like I was like, let me use a talent that I got and just brand myself out that way. And I didn't really know what it was for the longest. Like, I was never good in sports. I was never really good in talking and whatnot. But, you know, like, music always stayed, like, no matter what. Like I said, poetry since I was, like, really young. And then, like, even, like, now, it's still really connected to me. That's the one thing that never changed. So music is everything to me now, especially, like, when I accepted the calling. Like, it's very therapeutic. It's very helped me to, you know, just always be, like, uplifting every day. And I really hope, like, my music can do that for the same people, too, that's listening. You know what I'm saying? It's very different, but I think, you know, being different is okay. You know, it just takes you out of a box. And, like I said, bring people to your world. And, you know, people could be inspired by that. And that's what all that matters, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So, two things.
Let's get it.
The first is, you mentioned at one point you talk about, like, your stay in, like, the hospital. What's that about?
Yeah, so I wasn't trying to spoil it too much. But
Oh,
yeah.
no, so
we
can skip it though. I can go to the next question.
You good. So, yeah. So my time in the hospital, I actually grew up with my mom's amniotic fluids inside my ears. So like literally going to day one, it really affected like to how I am right now. So like my time in the hospital, growing up with amniotic fluids inside my ears, it made me sound like I was always living like my ears always sounded like I was underwater. So literally from like day one, I was always like affected. You know what I'm saying? And like with that, you can't really talk because you know like how people mimic what they hear to speak. Yeah. So I never talked for the longest. I couldn't understand a lot for the longest. It was just a different perspective growing up in life. You know what I'm saying? A church miracle that I had because my family's very religious, you know. It took the water out my ears, but it still kind of really like affected me even still. So that's kind of like the perspective that I put into the project. Something different, you know what I'm saying? Something different.
So when you say like that still affected you, and like how do you think that and everything else also that you've been through, like what type of a person do you think that's made you into? I know that's a vague question.
Yeah, for real. Well, I've always grew up as a mature, people say humble, meek person. That's just because of like how my mother raised me. Like my mom is like Mother Teresa, like for real. Like she'll sacrifice her clothes for you. And like growing up someone like her, like I always grew up like that same way. Like where I'm from, Broward County, like not a lot of people kind of understand that, where they might take your kindness and take a consideration to, you know, abuse it. You know what I'm saying? So I've always been trying to learn for that, just because like Broward could be an evil place for someone like me. You know what I'm saying? So you just gotta learn how to adapt sometimes. You know what I'm saying? But I've always grew up as like a kid who's just always been like in and out things. I grew up sheltered in a church, so I never really got around much. And like my disability kind of made me hard to like talk and conversate with people most of the time. So I was always like by myself most of the time, for real. But as I grow, like the disability gets a little better. I'm able to like conversate now. Like before, I would barely conversate. Like before, I would be like stuttering. I'd be like nervous. I'd be looking around everywhere. I'd be like, what the fuck am I like? I definitely progressed though throughout the time and throughout my ages. You know what I'm saying? I'm really proud of myself.
Yeah, man. Hell yeah. That's fucking awesome. So you said like you struggle with like depression at times. What does that look like for you?
I had the youngest memory of when I was like 8. Like I told my mom something. I was like, why am I born this way? I forgot what the whole conversation was about. But that was like the youngest I can remember. And I think it was just being like so indifferent and like being around people who would, you know, have like better clothes, have like, you know, like girls always around them and stuff like that. And I'm just like that kid. Like imagine like, I guess like Peter Parker, since I'm like a comic fan, you know, like how he always kind of get like bullied around and just not, or being able to fit in kind of thing. I kind of use that as like an analogy. But that's kind of like how I grew up. So I guess in a way it just made me very insecure. I never knew myself either, and I think that's what really hurted me, like not knowing who I am, what my talent was. I never really had like no circle like that. It's just always just been like me and my mom for the longest. And, you know, my mom like always working, so it's really just like me always by myself. So like the depression, it just sometimes like growing up it'll go like in and out. I would say like since I joined the military, it's been a little bit harder too, just cause like I'm actually getting out of like the church sheltered environment to going to, you know, like the military, you know, where it's almost like the opposite, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I just been trying to do better though, like to be honest. The music really helps though. Like music is really my therapy and it keeps me focused on, you know, doing maybe some dumb shit.
Yeah. So with that in mind, like that struggle, and so I have two questions, but they're kind of on the same vein. So I'm gonna try to combine them as best I can into like the right question, you know. So you've mentioned a couple of times now that you've just like kind of said it of like how you're proud of blank, how you've overcome blank. Have you like the struggle with growing up with a disability, with like getting through the fight of like being depressed, making music, you know, even while, you know, while the forces have been against you, you know, overcoming that. And also the other half is that you've like struggled to sort of figure out and know yourself, who you are, what your purpose is. So what does it mean to you to be proud of who you are and where you're at, what you've accomplished?
That's a good question. What it means to be proud of myself, you know, like I really grew up like a certain way, like I said, but I also just try to look at the good things that I've done and the good experiences I've done, you know what I'm saying? I've been able to help people out. I've been, I think one of my greatest achievements in life, my pops went on like a mission trip to Africa. I put that in one of my songs too. And I was able to like feed an orphanage of like 600 kids and whatnot, you know what I'm saying? And just like the meek heart that I got, like, you know, I really had like a passion of doing that, you know what I'm saying? It also just made me know like there's other people in the world that's going through worse than me, you know, like maybe not mentally, but like physically, you know what I'm saying? You know, those kids barely had like, you know, like they're like really skinny. They barely got like food. They really got like resources that we have as like Americans. So it's kind of like, you know, maybe look at the bigger picture. You know, like maybe life ain't too bad after all. You know what I'm saying? That's one of my biggest moments. And I always try to say like maybe this is just God's way of pointing me better to like, I don't know, point me to like a better direction. Like what if I was like a kid that might have just gotten to the streets and maybe I'll be like either dead or in jail, you know what I'm saying? So maybe it's a good thing I avoided, you know, some things. And like I try to look at the positive side of things, you know what I'm saying? I've always been an optimistic kid no matter what, like no matter what I've been going through. Like maybe nowadays it's been a little hard, but you know, I always look into the light rather than darkness, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, music really helps me too. Just knowing like the more consistent I am, the more I get my mind away from, you know, like mental demons and just be able to focus on a bigger picture on what I can put to the music and yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So with everything that you've like been through, what would you say is the hardest struggle in your life that you've had?
Probably like right now, to be honest. Like I said, I'm still like struggling on who I am. Like the music is definitely a big part of finding it. Yeah, being in the military also, you know, you can't really focus on yourself. And like the way I grew up, like I never really knew myself. So like now that I know, I feel like music's like my purpose. I also got like military responsibilities I got to do. It's not like I can quit, you know what I'm saying? So it's always just, I mean, you know, it's just maintaining a balance and whatnot. I'm really trying to put like my hours and my full dedication to this music. I really feel like it's what I'm made to do and whatnot. So I think that's like a big challenge that I got right now. Another big challenge, I guess, is just coming through adversities of my city, just like people bullying, people trying to scam, just like always being alone and just seeing the light somehow in some way. You know what I'm saying? I always had a way to figure it out.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. No, man, it's tough, like, doing stuff that's outside of the military while you're in the military, because
Facts.
literally the whole purpose of it is to just be a machine, you know,
Facts.
a well-oiled machine, and there's no need for or purpose for like anybody who's not just a cog in the machine, you know?
Right.
It's tough, fucking,
For real.
especially because, like, you find something you love, like, for you, music, for me, the podcast, the videography, like, it's kind of like, it feels like a bad thing.
We gotta force
sometimes.
ourselves to make a balance.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You have to have the balance. Yep. Especially because, you know, you just signed a contract to do it, you know? Man, it's tough. Yeah. I was raised in a similar way to you. Real similar, but different, like I was from Midwest, from Ohio. So a very, very Christian family. Like, my grandparents were missionaries in Brazil, and, like, my father was raised there until he was 18, before he came to the U.S. I think he'd been to the U.S. like a few times throughout that. But, yeah, so, no, I know exactly where you're coming from, where it's, especially when you talk about, like, the humility and stuff. Like, right. I know exactly what you're saying when you say that, man.
Of course.
Yeah. So, right now, where is all of this leading you in regards to your music career? Like, you said you're still figuring out,
like,
who
circumstances,
you are. Or like to where you want to go in your music career. Where's it looking like right now? Or just life, you know?
Oof. I'd say I'm doing pretty good right now. You know, I still gotta learn about, like, marketing. That's obviously the biggest thing when it comes to, you know, us artists trying to get our name and the platform out there. But I'm not really rushing, because, I mean, like I said, I just been in for 5 months. Feel like it's been longer, but nah, it's really just been 5 months. So I'm taking my time with it. I'm definitely taking my time on this project rather than marketing right now. I feel like once I get this project out the way, and then I can really, like, take the time to learn about marketing, then I'm going to take it for real seriously. And then people can always just dive in to what I did. And, like, Blast Life will already be finished. That's really, like, my goal to really – I don't want to, like, market now. I know it might sound weird. I don't want to, like, market now and then have, like, people wait for Blast Life. I would rather, like – yeah, this is really weird to say. I'd rather have, like, marketing afterwards and then, like, people get into Blast Life. I guess just they can really, like, get the whole picture that way type shit. But yeah, was looking forward to. It's just me just, like, keeping going. You know, depression don't really stop with the music. Like, if anything, it just makes it more of a fuel and just give me more power in my pen to jot. You know what I'm saying? So if anything, that helps. So I'm just going forward, man. Just going forward. I'm really looking forward. I already got my plan idea for, like, future projects in mind. So, I'm just trying to take it one step at a time, and, you know, just hopefully, you know, God give me the opportunity, you know, for one person to see it, and, you know, just letting that multiply, letting that spread like a snowball effect. You know what I'm saying? Keep getting bigger, for real.
Does your depression make it significantly harder for you to make music and operate, just like function? Nah,
like I said, it just really, if anything, it just makes it better. It makes it better. Kind of weird to say, but like, when I'm depressed, that's really, like, my time I really make music. Like, ever since I was young, to be real, you know, like, when I made my first song, I think I was going through the change of living my mom since forever, then going through my dad, and, you know, like, he was struggling at times too. He was barely there also, so I even made songs about that. When I was in the military, you know, I was making songs like whenever I was feeling down, I did, like, more, like, just to famous song instrumentals that I like. But it was just always at the moments, like, that was really, like, my fuel to make music. Really? And then, like, on deployment, you know, I had, like, some times too. And, you know, that was definitely the biggest fuel, because that's what made me to making, like, those 15, 20 songs I had on deployment. Like, my first 2 songs, Turtles and Hair and Out of My Shell, kind of go, like, hand in hand. Turtles and Hair is kind of like my debut of getting to the rap game. The Out of My Shell is, like, just taking that step of confidence to get into, like, someone who, you know, like, barely could talk, and then get into, like, somewhat of a spotlight of really getting this music out right now. and that really helped me too. You know what I'm saying? Like my music is definitely my biggest motivation right now, and that's why I need it. Like that's why I really need it. You know what I'm saying? More than just, fans. Like I need it for myself.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It's
I just hope
important.
like everyone can understand.
Yeah. So, not just in regards to music, but anything.
So
What would you say is most important to you in life?
most important thing to me.
Yeah, just whatever pops up in your head when you think about that.
Most important thing to me is just like me as a person or me as in me. I don't know if that makes sense. I'll just say like most important thing for me is knowing myself and just knowing your goals, knowing your plans. Cause like there's a big world like ahead of you. Like music, I love it, but it's not gonna be like my only avenue. If anything, it's gonna be my avenue to, identify myself and let people world know who I am. But eventually, like I'm gonna get into real estate. I'm gonna get into like doing charity. I'm gonna get into like, traveling. Like maybe like doing videos like how you doing. You know what I'm saying? Like music is awesome. I love it, and it's what I'm made to do. But I don't want to only fit in that pocket. Like I want to really explore the world and make a difference. Like get into acting, get into fashion. I got big goals like that.
Oh hell yeah!
For
Okay,
real.
so then, what would you say are? I don't know how often you think about it, or if they're like clear in your head, or how you sort of view like your like mindset on goals. But what are your goals in life?
Yeah, my mindset for my goals right now is always changing, but the main thing is just really just learning more about the world, learning more about myself at it, and really just having fun. My biggest goal, like I said, is to make it into music right now. Just 'cause I feel like that's my calling. But, also just at the end of the day, just make a difference. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's through my music, like similar to like Michael Jackson, he's one of my favorite artists. He's just like hella powerful, like his voice and whatnot. Tupac, who's just more like a rapper, just more like an activist too. You know what I'm saying? My goal, obviously, is just to help the next person, whether it's through music or like just activities that I do. I really got a big vision for that. I feel like I'm really made to be a missionary and just help other people. And I definitely want to inspire. And, for someone like me who always just grew up sheltered, not being able to do anything, I want to do as much as I could right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to learn how to cut hair. I want to learn, like, how to act. I want to learn, like, get into real estate and learn about money. You know what I'm saying? So learn about as much as I could and just being better every day.
Yeah. Why do you feel like, I guess when you say growing up sheltered, like in the church, what is that sort of, you said it, because of that, you want to learn and you want to learn everything and be able to do lots of stuff and be able to achieve lots. Like, why? What does that make you, like, why?
Yeah, so I mean, like growing up for me, I grew up with a mom she's awesome. She's really like a homebody though. So, just always growing up with her, like I automatically became a homebody because I really know much. I didn't know what was really outside or what to do in the world. Where I'm from, like everyone would just be playing basketball and stuff like that. So I feel like that's the only thing really to do. Like if it wasn't basketball or like maybe like side hustles, like there was like nothing. So like me actually growing up and like, just knowing there's like a world outside of playing basketball, that got me into being interested into doing it. Like I always had like, I guess I would say like after high school, when I was 19, like I had like a vision board of how my, like life would be looking like in the next couple of years. So my first goal was to do community college and then get into like just male initiatives, clubs based on entrepreneurship. Yeah. Like I always knew I had the idea of just doing something like beyond like what my city feels like. I don't know, like it's just like I said, it's just pretty empty or pretty blank. Like there's nothing really going on for my city. And that's why I really didn't know about much opportunities. But like now that I know now, I definitely want to dive in. And I feel like just being like a jack of all trades and jack of all trades, just learning as much as you can about everything. That just makes you like more of a better person, more versatile person. You know what I'm saying? That's my biggest goal, and I really like that idea of just being versatile and learning. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like we still got time in this world to just, learn a new trade, learn a new skill.
Yeah.
So why not? Why not?
Yeah. So what is what you mentioned earlier was you hope that I think you said you want to be able to help the next person and like make a difference. So what type of help do you hope that what you do, either through music or through anything else, through your charity work, how do you hope that helps a person?
Of course. So like, especially for people like me who grew up not knowing who they are and not what to do. Like, I feel like no one should ever deal with that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, you made for a purpose, and the earlier you know, like, the better it is for you growing up in life. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I definitely want to help people in that regard. Like my time in Africa, to where, people don't have resources or like even just enough food. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, I can't help everybody in the world, but if I could just like make a difference to one person, I don't want no one to be struggling like that, especially now on their own free will. Like, they were put on this earth thinking they was going to deal with poverty. You know what I'm saying? So, why should they suffer that? Why should someone like me who suffered through like depression, insecurities, why should they be going through that? I definitely want to just be a handout to people. You know what I'm saying? And even like through music or whatever career path I do, I hope they can be inspired by that. Let them know, like, this man who grew up like this, he's like in this position now. Like, I hope they're not afraid to take that step, take that risk. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Anybody can do it. Especially, I feel like if I can do it, anybody can do it, man, for real. Straight up.
Okay. What would you say that your greatest values are, like your most important values that you hold are?
Yeah. I said my greatest values as a person, it's just kind of like my heart that I got. I always just grew up helping people.
Yeah.
And, just sacrifice even like myself, for people. I think that's like the greatest gift we can show to this world, just showing love. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, I grew up with a mom who's really big on that foundation, or grew up in a whole family based on that foundation.
Yeah.
So it just came a part of me. I think that's my greatest value. No matter what I do as a career field, that's always going to be my greatest value. Just helping and showing that love to another person. You know what I'm saying?
So are you still like Christian, like how you were raised and everything?
That's a good question. That's fine. I'm definitely still Christian. Like, I grew up so much in the church, man. I can't even get it out of me, man. I cannot get it off of me. Like, literally from age 0 to age 19, whenever I joined the military, I had times where I definitely have changed. Christian terms, they call it backsliding. Just because, like growing up in a bubble and then being outside that bubble and then realizing I was in a bubble. I don't know if that makes sense, but just kind of like, it just made me realize there's like a world out there, and it makes you just question like your life. Like, why were you in that bubble? So, I have times where I question, I have times where I question like why I was in that bubble for so long. Like I said, I still got the core values of what it means to be like an apostolic Christian and whatnot. Also with like my disability too, like I'll be at church most of the time, ushering and whatnot. I'll have times like where I forget the sermon just because I have like bad memory span or whatnot. I had times like where I was even like depressed in church because I didn't know. I felt like I didn't know who to be in the church either. Like, I didn't really feel like I had the voice to being a preacher or like the talent of being like a church musician. So I guess I always question myself in that regard too. Oh shit, my bad. This screen got black.
Oh, appreciate you.
I just realized.
Actually, you can just finish the thought.
Okay.
And then we'll just get it because it's a good thought, and the audio is what's most important.
That's a bit. But yeah, pretty much I feel like right now I'm just taking, I know they didn't really say like Christians, you don't really take breaks. really, I want time to figure out myself and to fix my problems with insecurities and low self-esteem. And then whenever I get like my mindset right, I feel like that'd be my time to really invest into the Bible and invest into knowing God. I'm not saying like I should be like praying more to really find the answers. I've been doing that all my life, and it's just been like a little tough for me. I really sacrificed like a lot for my church without really putting time for myself to know who I am. And I don't know if that's like a bad thing. I kept asking God like to give me an answer, and obviously God, works in mysterious ways. I've been trying to be patient for the longest, so I'm still being patient. And while I am, I'm just trying to know who I am. In the same time, like in the end of the day or to the end of my lifetime, I'm gonna make sure I go to heaven. You know what I'm saying? Make sure I go to heaven. It's just really like a phase right now. I'm really just going through a journey on soul searching. They say. You know what I'm saying? So that's really what it is right now.
Yeah, man. So you said that growing up, it kind of felt like you. I don't want to paraphrase you. I don't want to like miss like quote you. So I'm paraphrasing here. So let me know if I'm wrong.
Okay.
You said that it was kind of like you struggled to find your like self and your identity and who you were, like in the church. So how long did it take you to sort of like break out of that? And I know you're still figuring out who you are, you said. So how has that journey and process been?
Yeah, so like I said, I always grew up in the church. My parents started their church when I was like 9, so 2010. And it's just being at that young age, I was like the first child for my church. So back then, I would just be handling offering and whatnot. And, just being like forever present. Because, my kind of family don't make sure like you invested to it like when you're hella young.
Yeah.
When you grow up like that, especially like you kind of held to a standard that you obviously can't do what other kids do and whatnot. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You just always gotta be perfect and whatnot. So in regards to that, like I said, I was really limited onto myself and what I could be doing. So when it comes to like not having identity, I feel like because I feel like I grew up in church so long, like you would think I'd become like a musician or a preacher or just anything like that. So I guess I really question myself that way. I guess just kind of like my mindset too on, I guess, becoming like somebody. And like growing up at church, obviously like your main goal is just be saved and just, remaining yourself to just be as holy to like whenever your time come and judgment day you go through. For me, I guess my mindset is different. Like I actually want to become somebody and, how about the world that way and let them see church that way. You know what I'm saying? Rather than like making sure people come to you for your church, I'd rather do the opposite. So I guess that was like kind of my mindset. And that's kind of like why I'm kind of wandering right now. I feel like once I discover myself, that'll just put me in even a better position to like even become a preacher and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? Like I'd rather become a missionary than a preacher. Like missionary to go out to places and share the gospel that way. That's really like my goal whenever I become like an older age and I become more wiser and understand the world, understand myself better. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I've always been into church, so I can't really get off of me. And like I said, I want to make sure I get to heaven by the end of the day. So that's really like my goal right now. But yeah, I got to know myself first. I can't really be depressed and try to preaching, you know what I'm saying? It's not going to work hand in hand. So, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. Did you ever have a period of time in your life when you sort of like purposely went against that? Like
the church?
Yeah. Where like, cause I feel like a lot of people who are raised that way, when they're like teenagers or younger, maybe like that age, if they ever feel like constricted like that, where when they're younger they feel like they have to be a certain way.
Yeah.
When they're in high school or something like that, you know, I feel like a lot of people who are raised like that might reach a point where it's like, well, I'm sick of that. I'm gonna go purposely in the opposite direction. You ever have a time like that?
Yeah, most definitely, man. Most definitely. I'm trying to remember like the youngest memory I got off of that. It really growing up in like Broward, you know what I'm saying? Like I felt like I was literally like the only Christian in my school, you know what I'm saying? Cause you know mostly like Caribbean people, Haitian kids, just like actual like African Americans most of the time, you know, just living like to the culture. I didn't really know no church people where I'm from like that. So obviously I can kind of get like persuaded on what I see around me, because environment means a lot to somebody, you know what I'm saying? A lot to somebody. So, you know, like I kind of adapted. Obviously I stuck to my roots. I stuck to my roots a lot. I would say like whenever I joined the military, I actually stopped breaking away to my roots. Depression hit pretty badly. There's really like no, like I still ain't had no Christian circle around me or whatnot. So it was just kind of like, I think that was like really like the journey to where I was just like kind of living myself. I wasn't really like persuaded by people, but I just kind of like that was like in a moment where I just kind of took a break and just like to kind of discover myself. It's not like I try to sin purposely and whatnot. It's just I'm just kind of living. I'm just kind of in the middle.
Yeah.
Like I said, the Christians is not really a thing called being in the middle, but you know what I'm saying? Like it's still rooted into me. Like I said, I can't get it out, but like I said, I'm just living.
Man, I respect that. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Switching gears now for a second.
Let's go
with like to music. So, is there any specific song or work that you've made that sticks out to you as like a favorite or a passion project type thing?
Yeah, of course. I really love all my songs, and that's really like, I guess, typical to say, but each of them are different and each of them are important to me, so I can kind of like go through like a chronological order. Action Words 1, you know, I made that really when I was 16. It's professionally out when I'm 21, but that was my first song. I just chose a beat. It was like me and my homeboy that's a boxer right now. I mentioned him in my song too. We was just chilling in this car one day. We chose a fire-ass beat, and I just went crazy. I felt like I was always like lyrical. See, I just did my part. He was just cooling. He did the first verse. I did the second verse on it, and that's on SoundCloud. Action Words 1. I obviously did his verse. So shout out to my boy E-Boy. The first professional song I got right now is Turtles and Hairs. That just kind of talk about like an analogy of the childhood story. I'm like a turtle because you know, I'm going to the game pretty slow. You know, I'm like my own kind of creature or my own kind of style. So I'm around like other, you know, rabbits who just you know, I mean, they might be ahead of me, but I know like if I just progress in my lane, you know, I'll be fine. The finish line like anytime soon. Out of My Shells, my next song, just kind of stepping out of that bubble, like I said, of how I am and having the boldness to be in the spotlight right now. 21 to Life just talks about like being proud of, you know, African American being alive still. You know, I was 21 at that time. Rise of the Fallen is my fourth song. That's with my homeboys on deployment. Like around the same time, I really got my inspiration to really get back into rap. New Chapter is probably like the most pop song I got. I was just really just diving into the next year. That's really all that song was about. This year, I got the debut. Just me just having my new flow, having my new style. Good Boy, I would say, is one of my proudest, I would say, to be honest. Good Boy 23 is a part 1, part 2, part 3 series. It's based on like a story of, you know, just like a nice guy. You know, I portray myself and I'm just trying to holler at a shorty. And, you know, like this generation, I feel like a woman is really hard to find, like, you know, like the loyal and nice, genuine woman, instead of just like the culture of social media and how these women are nowadays. You know what I'm saying? So obviously, like, you never know, like, when they're into you. And like by the end of Good Boy, like, you find out the girl really not into him. and he just got sick of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, he been trying to find like the one, and he see like how girls be moving, so he said he gonna be moving differently now. The next song is like a sequel, is like a club banger, being like a fuck boy. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this how it is. All right, bet I'm gonna be like this. My next song that I'm dropping on the 19th is a promo song for my project. So it's called Actual Words 2, sequel to my first song. And then I'm dropping, I got 1, 2, 3. I got like 3 more songs before the project come out. Hopefully 2 features. I did 2 features. They just haven't really posted yet, so we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. Yeah, that's my discography so far. But, you know, it's going to get bigger. It's going to be bigger by the months, by the years. I already got my plan for it. I just got to step on that timeline and just do it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Okay. Who/what would you say are your biggest inspirations?
Okay. I can tell you my inspirations and like who I grew up with. So when it first came to rap, I really grew up to like this guy named Papa San. He was like a dance hall Christian reggae artist. And that was just like what my family was always listening to. That was like probably one of the first rappers I really heard. And besides him, it would just be like whatever's in the radio, like around the same time, like Jay-Z, Empire State of Mind, like that kind of rap and that kind of music that was around. Whenever I got a little bit older, I realized I really I like the style of Eminem. And, you know, some people would say it's kind of weird because, you know, obviously he got his own kind of style. I really like that lyrical stuff, you know what I'm saying? I also just grew up like around watching the battle rap culture. My first rap battle I saw was this guy named Donnie Menace versus Nove. And like ever since I started watching that, you know, I've always just been influenced about like just battle bars and just the culture of it and just like the aggression that they put into it. Like you can really feel like how important it is to them, and that's why I felt the realness to that. So, you know, Eminem, like battle rap. Nas, I would say, is a big one because I feel like I can relate to his style, like in the ways of how he's like an author and a poet. Cause like I said, I grew up as a poet, and you know he just really just rap into like what he see. He do it like so fresh and so cool, man. It's crazy. I love Nas. Lil Wayne is just a monster himself. He's literally just in this consistency I respect so much, man. He's really his own genius on his own. He had like a whole era, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Kendrick Lamar is another one just because I feel like me and him are really close in our style in the ways of how we do albums, how we project our music, and like how it kind of means something. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like every time I drop a song, it means something to me. Yeah. Like whether I'm telling it through a story or just like a sequel or like a prequel to this or just, I don't know. Like it's just every song I do is with attention. You know what I'm saying? Like I can't just make a song based on nothing. I gotta feel for something and make it that way. You know what I'm saying? So that's really just like my biggest inspirations. Always Jay-Z, East Coast, South Coast, West Coast. I listen to it all, man. I love it all. I take pieces of everything. You know, even outside of hip hop. Even like Lecrae, like a Christian rapper and whatnot, and just like classic reggae. I always listen to the Marleys, you know, Bob, Kimani, Damien. One of my favorite albums is one that Damian Marley and Nas got called Distant Relatives. Golden album, man, golden album. Album-wise, I really look up to, I also look up to Kanye too. He's a real genius. I love how, one of my favorite albums is My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, which not a lot of people know. Like he made it here in Hawaii too, so that just makes it more cool. I really just like music that's different. Like I always listen to music that just I don't know. Like I guess Kanye and Kendrick, you know, they always just put like their touches, like, you know, like only them can make music like this. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I'm really inspired by. So like that's why you could say like my style is almost like a combination of them two in a way. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So
Okay, so that's your like artist inspiration. Those are the people you look up to, you know. So when you actually like sit down to record music, what is running through your heart and your mind at that time? Is it thoughts of those artists? Is it like just an emotion?
Like whenever I make a song, or
no,
just,
like what drives your emotion and what drives you when you're sitting down to, I don't know if you write your music out or if you punch in, what drives you like when you're actually in the process of making?
Oh man, so most of the time I already got the idea of what kind of song I'm doing, what's going on in my head. It's just now let's see. Most of the time, like I said, whenever I had an idea of like what I'm doing, the way I make music, I don't know if this answers your question, but I already have like lyrics in my mind already, and I put it like in my memo on my phone, just like as ideas. And like I could literally make like a whole song just based on like that one verse. It would just it'll follow like a domino effect. Like I'll just know what to say this next line. So it's easy for me that way. If I have a song that's based on like what like another artist has done already, or like a line that I like that I feel like it fit, you know, sometimes I'll try to make it my own way.
Yeah.
But most of the time, it's just however I'm feeling. Like Good Boy, for example, like I can relate to that story, and that story is based on actually like what kind of happened to like the last relationship I was in. So it was really easy for me to make lyrics to Good Boy, cause you know I felt like I was there in that story. You know, it's about me. You know what I'm saying? So it's really just the next thing I'm saying, or really experiences that I'm going through.
Yeah.
If that answers your question.
Yeah. Okay. So, career-wise in music, who are some people that you would like to work with, and like where do you want like it to go as far as like, do you want to get like signed, or what are your thoughts on that? Like where you're taking your career, the steps.
Nah, for sure. I definitely want to. My biggest goal is just to get recognized for what I do. Like I said, I already know my style is different, and I love it. Like I love that my style is different. I hope everyone can just have an ear to it. I would love to inspire, like how I love for like my inspirations to really listen to. That's my main goal. When it comes to like who I think I'll be signed to, my biggest goal is to get signed to Mass Appeal with Nas. To be honest, like not even as like a music head who just likes him. I feel like he'll be a great mentor, just because you know he's more than rap. He's business. He's like a mogul. He's like I don't know. I feel like Nas is just him. Mass Appeal, I feel like it's a great label. I had an idea of having like my first co-sign being Rod Wave, just because I feel like we have like the same style of music. He's also Floridian too, so I feel like it makes sense. But yeah, my biggest goals, I would like to collaborate with a lot of artists. Like me, just being like a visionary and like someone looking to the future. Like I already got kind of like ideas of like songs I would have with like Kanye, Nas, you know, it's like for example, because that's just how my mind think. Like I'm thinking that far ahead.
Yeah.
But I think it's kind of good. Like I'm really a visionary, and I know one day it could happen. You know, I just gotta put in the work.
Yeah.
And just let the talent show for itself. Let it speak for itself.
Okay, so we're closing up on the time, so I got a couple more questions.
Let's get it.
So first, when you are 70, 75, 80, 85, 100,
Let's go.
make it that far, 100 years old,
Let's go.
and you're sitting on your deathbed, you got, who knows, I don't know, but you're on your deathbed.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think your regrets are going to be?
Ooh, that's a good question. I guess I can even think about this now. I really wish I started like everything I'm doing now like earlier. I wish I knew what I wanted to be earlier. So that's kind of like a regret I have now. By the time I'm 100, shoot, if I'm in the deathbed because I'm not taking care of myself properly, like health-wise, I would regret that, to be honest. I would hope by that time I would have enough achievements to make that overshine my regrets. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
For sure. But right now I wish I started everything earlier. Like I felt like I could have been doing music like when I was like 17 instead of now I'm 22. But I feel like everything's for a reason. Like maybe I'm made to fit in this era rather than like 5 years ago era, or just maybe I have to deal with like an experience to really wake myself to making this kind of music I make right now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So everything happens for a reason. But yeah, hopefully whenever I'm 100 in that deathbed, hopefully, like I said, my achievements can overshine my regrets. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely. Yeah, man. And then the last question.
It's gonna be important.
So I always ask this.
What's up?
Is showtime. Do you have any final words / what do you want to leave off the audience with? If you had like one last like message to give them.
Sure thing, man. For all of y'all, I'm gonna look at the camera for this one, I guess. Definitely, if y'all got a dream, man, don't let anything stop you. Like, you already know what you made for. If you don't know what you made for, I'll definitely inspire all y'all to just trying to find out within yourselves. Know your purpose, man. Know your purpose, and don't let anybody stop you. You know what I'm saying? No matter what. If you're in a situation like where you might be stuck, with your job and might let it hinder, whatever, there's a will, there's a way. You know what I'm saying? Don't be afraid to take risks. A lot of people are. Those risks is it might look like a mountain, you know what I'm saying? But over it is like where success and where your achievements lie, you know what I'm saying? So obviously we just gotta grind a little bit harder and just see through that mountain. So we all got potential. We all can do it. And you know what I'm saying? Just keep fighting. Just keep fighting. Keep being better. Be better every day. Try to be knowledgeable and just keep yourself happy. You know what I'm saying? Life is too short. I say it's long, but life is too short to really, be stuck in a certain, position. Amen. Always progress. Always be happy. Do what you like to do. You know what I'm saying? That's all I got.
Sweet, man. Well, I appreciate your time here.
Appreciate you.
For people who might be driving right now or something, could you say your like social media handles and everywhere to find you? Like, could you say that out loud?
A1.Blakie, not just like my rap name, but for everything else, that's the letter A, number 1, .Blakie, BLAKIE. That's my social for everything. A1.Blakie.
Sweet, easy, hell yeah, y'all heard it. Go and give him a follow. Listen to everything he's got. If you're listening to this after October, go check out the project.
Yes, sir.
Listen to everything, all his music that's out right now, all the music that's going to be coming out. Give it some streams, listen to it.
Please.
Create some program that listens to it 24/7,
Please.
Get it going. Really appreciate your guys' time and everything. I hope that you enjoyed this episode. You might have learned something, maybe from A1.Blakie. You probably didn't learn anything from me, but he's pretty smart, so... Man, I appreciate your time, really, and everything. It was great talking to you.
Yes,
it was great meeting you. Have a good night, and everybody listening, have a good night or morning or day.
God bless you all, man, for real.
Peace. All right, sweet.